Yo, what is up fam? What is up beautiful people? This week we're going to be talking about the tips, tools and tactics that we use to pull ourselves from depression, pull ourselves from things like anxiety, to pull ourselves from the depths. But while we're talking about this, we're going to also talk about the complacency, the laziness that comes along with finally leaving those depths and reaching the surface for air. Let's get it. So the reason that I'm making this video is because in episode 45 of the Open Up podcast with Joe William, former NRL player, author, public speaker, and just an amazing man, he actually highlighted and called me out on the fact that I had become complacent and questioned why I'd done this in the first place. Now I'm going to let you watch that clip from the podcast, from the Skype interview, and then I'll talk a little bit more about it after you're done watching.
Now this is where I get a lot of people offside, right? Is that people who struggle with depression and anxiety don't necessarily have a choice that they are doing that. But if they are struggling or suffering over an extended period of time, that is a choice. And people question me, what do you mean it's a choice? If you're doing it hard or you're not, what do you mean is a choice? Well, it's exactly in what I said, right?
Yeah.
If you're doing it hard, if you're struggling over a certain period of time, it means you're not paying attention enough to your wellness.
Yeah, I know when I skip my meditation or my morning flow, my morning routine, I start feeling depressed, man, 100%.
Yeah.
And as soon as I go back to that, as soon as I go back to what I know what works, it's gone.
Well, if you know it works, why get away from it? Like that's how deluded we are as humans sometimes. We're like, you know what, I'm gonna do X, Y, Z because that works for me, but I might just throw in an ABC to see if it's different. Well, right?
Yeah.
And then we go, oh, how did I get here? Like, man, it's because you're not paying attention, right?
That's it, man.
So, wellness is an easy thing, but it takes work.
Yeah.
That's all.
So after having that conversation, after being called out, put on the spot, I realized that not only me, but a lot of the people that I spend my time with, a lot of the people that I care about who have pulled themselves from those depths and reached that surface for air, become lazy or complacent after they've overcome their struggle. And so the conclusion that I've come to is that we use these tools like exercise, meditation, journaling, and so on, but at some point after having overcome our challenge, actually using them, we become so used to our newfound well-being or state of contented or happiness that it starts to become our new normal. And from there, we begin to take it for granted. Now, I'm sure you can relate this back to anything new that's come into your life, whether it's that new car that you've been wanting for so long because you've been driving a bomb. You finally get that new car, you're so proud of it, you take care of it. It's your pride and joy for the next month or so, but as it collects dust, as it collects dirt, as it starts collecting rubbish inside it, you lose your love for it because it becomes your everyday, it becomes your new normal. And then instead of having that gratitude for not being in that place that you were, having to be embarrassed about the car you were driving or having to worry about it breaking down on the freeway, you're now just going through the motion. You've now just become complacent with what it is you have and where it is that you're actually at. So relating this back to mental health, when we reach this point where we start taking things for granted, taking this newfound well-being for granted, we become lazy, and through complacency, we tend to drop the very actions or routines that got us there in the first place. Now, because this is our new normal, we complacently believe that all will remain exactly as it is, that we'll stay the happy, content, outgoing, or confident person that we've built ourselves up to be. And eventually we begin to drop those tips, those tools, those tactics that lifted us up in the first place. Because more often than not, those same tools, those same tips, those same tactics are the ones that require the most effort and the most work. Take meditation, for example. We know from the quotes of celebrities and billionaires who use it themselves that the benefits heavily outweigh the time that you spend actually doing it. But sitting down with your eyes closed, not moving at all, and focusing on only one thing for 5 to 20 to 40 to 60 minutes at a time is hard work. Absolutely, it is hard work. And yes, in this new normal, it will become a chore like any of the other tips, tools, or tactics you use. But what we need to remember to ward off this complacency or this laziness is that your mind is like your house. And yes, those tools, those tips, those tactics may eventually become chores. But just like your house, if you slip up here and there on your chores, slowly the house will become messier and messier until one day you just can't cope with the load of either washing or mental stress. And so you break down from that pressure, from that stress. Now I know this isn't the best way to pitch this idea, but it's the truth. You, me, the people that we love and care about, we're all gonna have to work relentlessly our entire lives to ensure that we remain above the surface, to ensure that we remain balanced. So we have to make sure that we do these chores. We have to make sure that we do the work daily, because life isn't linear. No matter how it seems at the time, life always ebbs and flows. It has its peaks and its troughs. So we all have to make sure that we don't leave those mental chores, that we don't leave putting out that garbage or that washing for a rainy day. Because to do that, to procrastinate, to become complacent and lazy, and to leave it for a day where we go outside and we get wet, is to unnecessarily put ourselves at risk both mentally and physically. So to end this, I want to ask you guys 2 questions, and I want you to be honest with yourselves. Number 1 is, how do you feel right now? And number 2 is, what have you stopped or started to feel this way? Now those are 2 questions you can ask yourself whenever you're feeling in distress. Again, I hope you got something out of this video. If you did, I'd love it if you give this video a heart or a like, or even drop a comment below. Otherwise, guys, feel free to rate and review the podcast on iTunes. Hit us with that 5-star. I'd absolutely appreciate it. And of course, if you have liked this page on Facebook, then no doubt count on me reaching out to you and sending you a voice message, because I appreciate every one of you so much, and I'm so grateful that you spend your time here with me while I rant and try to provide you guys some value. I love you all. Ciao.